Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever own. It is the foundation of every success, every failure, every opportunity, and every limitation in your life. What you believe about yourself, what you believe about the world, and what you believe about your potential determines everything. Your mind is the engine that drives your actions, and your actions create your reality. If you want to change your life, the first step is to train your mind to think and operate at a high level. Most people don't realize this. They think success is about external factors, luck, talent, resources, or even where they were born. But the truth is, the difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't what's happening around them, it's what's happening inside them. It's their mindset. Some of the most successful people in history have come from impossible circumstances. Yet they broke through every barrier because they refused to let their minds accept defeat. This isn't wishful thinking, it's science. Your brain is like a muscle. What you repeatedly think about and focus on becomes ingrained in your neural pathways. When you constantly dwell on negative thoughts, your brain strengthens those connections, making it easier to feel doubt, fear, and hesitation. But when you consciously train your mind to focus on confidence, resilience, and possibility, your brain rewires itself to make those states your default. You have the ability to control what enters and stays in your mind. You can either feed it negativity, doubt, excuses, fear, or you can feed it strength, determination, discipline, and faith in your ability to grow. Every day you are conditioning your mindset, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you conditioning it to believe? If you want to train your mind for success, you must first take responsibility for your thoughts. Stop letting outside forces dictate what you believe about yourself. Stop letting past failures define your future. Stop allowing the opinions of others to control your self-worth. None of those things determine what is possible for you. Only your mindset does. The people who achieve greatness have one thing in common. They have learned how to master their thoughts. They don't allow negativity to take control. They don't dwell on the past. They don't let fear stop them. When a challenge comes, they ask, how can I use this? Instead of, why is this happening to me? When they experience failure, they look for the lesson instead of the excuse. They take control of their mental state every single day. This kind of mindset doesn't happen overnight. It takes work. Just like training your body, training your mind requires daily effort. You have to be intentional about what you think, what you read, who you surround yourself with, and what you focus on. If you spend all your time around negativity, feeding your mind with doubt and limitation, you will create a life that reflects those thoughts. But if you commit to training your mindset for success, if you fill your mind with empowering beliefs, challenge yourself to grow and take bold action despite fear, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The good news is you don't have to be born with this mindset. You can develop it. You can reprogram your mind starting today. It starts with awareness, recognizing the thoughts that are holding you back and replacing them with new ones. It starts with discipline, making a decision every day to focus on what moves you forward instead of what holds you back. It starts with action, choosing to step into the mindset of success before you even see the results. Every great achievement in history started in the mind of someone who believed it was possible. They trained themselves to think differently, to see opportunities instead of limitations, and to take action. Even when they didn't have all the answers. They conditioned their minds to expect success, and because of that, they found a way to make it happen. And you can do the same. Your mind is your greatest asset. Protect it, train it, and use it to create the life you were meant to live. Life is not about what happens to you. It's about how you interpret and respond to what happens to you. The way you perceive an event determines how you feel about it, and how you feel about it dictates the actions you take. This is the power of reframing, the ability to shift your perspective and assign a new meaning to any experience. It is one of the most valuable skills you can develop because it allows you to take control of your emotions, your mindset, and ultimately your results. Most people believe that their feelings are automatic responses to their circumstance. They think that when something goes wrong, they have no choice but to feel frustrated, defeated, or hopeless. But this is an illusion. It is never the event itself that creates your emotions. It is the meaning you attach to it. Two people can go through the exact same situation and have completely different reactions based on how they frame it in their minds. One person may see failure as the end, while another may see it as a lesson that makes them stronger. One person may view a challenge as a curse, while another may see it as an opportunity for growth. When you learn to reframe your experiences, you take back control over your emotions and your destiny. You no longer allow setbacks to define you. Instead of seeing obstacles as problems, you start to see them as stepping stones. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you step into the mindset of someone who is always learning, growing, and adapting. This shift in perspective changes everything. Think about a time in your life when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost a job, failed at a goal, or experienced a painful setback. At that moment, it may have felt like the worst thing that could happen, but looking back, you might realize that it led you to something even better. Maybe that job loss forced you to start your own business. Maybe that failed relationship helped you discover your true worth. Maybe that struggle built the strength you needed for an even bigger opportunity. The reality is we rarely see the full picture in the moment. What feels like a setback today might be the exact thing that propels you forward tomorrow. The key to mastering the power of reframing is learning to control your internal dialogue. Your brain is constantly interpreting situations and assigning meaning to them. If you don't take charge of this process, your mind will default to negativity. It will find reasons to be discouraged, fearful, or overwhelmed. But you have the power to stop this cycle. Instead of reacting with frustration, you can ask yourself, what else could this mean? A challenge doesn't have to mean you are stuck. It can mean you are being prepared for something greater. A failure doesn't have to mean you are not good enough. It can mean you are one step closer to success. A rejection doesn't have to mean you are unworthy. It can mean you are being redirected to something better. When you actively choose to give a new meaning to your experiences, you free yourself from the limitations of fear and self-doubt. Reframing is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing an empowering perspective that allows you to move forward rather than staying stuck. Some of the most successful people in history have used this exact strategy to turn their biggest setbacks into their greatest comebacks. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he didn't see them as mistakes. He reframed them. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That mindset allowed him to keep going when most people would have given up. He didn't let failure defeat him because he refused to see it as failure. He saw it as progress. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet he did not come out of it bitter or broken. He reframed his experience, choosing to see it as the preparation needed to lead his nation to freedom. Instead of being consumed by resentment, he used his time to strengthen his resolve and refine his vision. His ability to assign a higher meaning to his suffering turned him into one of the most influential leaders in history. If these individuals had let their circumstances define them, they would never have achieved greatness, but they understood the secret. Life does not shape you. The meaning you give to life shapes you. No matter what you are facing right now, you can choose to see it in a way that strengthens you instead of weakens you. You can decide that this challenge is not a roadblock, but a detour leading you to something better. You can choose to believe that life is happening for you, not to you. It is easy to get stuck in a negative cycle when things don't go as planned. The mind naturally wants to focus on what's wrong or what's missing, on why things aren't working out. But if you allow yourself to stay in that state, you will stay stuck. The only way to move forward is to consciously redirect your focus. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Shift your question to, how can I use this? This simple change in perspective can take you from feeling powerless to feeling unstoppable. When you master the art of reframing, you develop an unshakable mindset. Nothing can break you because you no longer see obstacles as reasons to quit. You see them as fuel to push harder. You stop being afraid of failure because you no longer interpret failure as an ending. You see it as a necessary step toward your goal. You refuse to be discouraged by setbacks because you know that every setback contains a lesson that makes you better. This is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. The most successful people are not the ones who never experience difficulties. They are the ones who refuse to let difficulties define them. They use reframing as a tool to keep going, to stay motivated, and to turn every challenge into an advantage. So ask yourself right now, what in your life needs a new meaning? What situation have you been seeing through the lens of limitation when you could be seeing it through the lens of growth? What challenge have you been labeling as a problem when in reality it could be the exact thing you need to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Your perspective is everything. The moment you decide to take control of your thoughts and assign new meanings to your experiences, you take back control of your future. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your own success. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past. It doesn't matter what challenges you are currently facing. What matters is the meaning you choose to give it. If you choose to see it as an obstacle, it will hold you back. But if you choose to see it as an opportunity, it will propel you forward. This is the power of reframing. It is a skill that can transform your mindset, your emotions, and your entire life. Train yourself to see challenges as stepping stones, failures as lessons, and setbacks as setups for a bigger comeback. When you do this consistently, nothing will be able to stop you from reaching the success you are truly capable of achieving. Your emotional state determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. The way you feel at any given moment dictates whether you take bold, decisive steps toward success or shrink back in hesitation. Mastering your state is the key to unlocking your full potential, because when you control your emotional energy, you control your destiny. Most people go through life reacting to whatever emotions show up. They think their feelings are something that just happened to them, like the weather. Uncontrollable and inevitable. But this is not true. Your state, your emotional and physiological condition is something you can influence, shape, and take command of in an instant. Think about a moment in your life when you felt unstoppable, when you were at your absolute best. Maybe it was a time when you achieved something great, when you overcame a challenge, when you stood tall with confidence. How did you feel in that moment? What was your posture like? How did you breathe? How did you move? What was your focus? Now compare that to a moment when you felt defeated, when you were filled with doubt, fear, or hesitation. Your body was different, wasn't it? Your breathing was shallower. Your shoulders may have been slumped. Your voice was probably softer, weaker. These two states had nothing to do with the actual circumstances. They had everything to do with how you carried yourself in that moment. The truth is, your emotions are not random. They are created by three things: your physiology, your focus, and the meaning you assign to events. If you learn how to control these three factors, you can change your state in an instant. Physiology is the fastest way to shift your state. Your mind and body are deeply connected, and when you change how you move, you change how you feel. Stand tall and you will feel more powerful. Breathe deeply and you will feel more in control. Move with energy and you will feel more alive. This is why athletes jump up and down before a competition, why performers have rituals to pump themselves up before going on stage, why some of the most successful people in the world use movement to create confidence before they step into a high-pressure situation. If you feel stuck, uninspired, or lacking energy, the fastest way to change that is to move. Go for a run, jump up and down, shake out the tension in your body. Your state will shift instantly because motion creates emotion. This is not just a motivational idea. It is backed by science. When you change your physical state, your brain releases different chemicals. When you stand in a posture of confidence, your testosterone levels go up and your cortisol levels go down, making you feel more powerful and less stressed. The simple act of smiling can release serotonin and dopamine, instantly improving your mood. The second element that controls your state is focus. What you focus on, you feel. If you focus on everything that is wrong, you will feel overwhelmed. If you focus on everything that is going right, you will feel empowered. Your mind has a built-in filter called the reticular activating system that determines what you pay attention to. Right now, if you decided to look around the room for everything that is red, you would suddenly notice all the red objects, but the moment before, you weren't even thinking about them. That's how your mind works with emotions. If you focus on problems, you will find more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you will find more opportunities. This is why successful people train their focus. They don't waste time obsessing over what could go wrong. Instead, they put their attention on solutions, on progress, on what they can control. They practice gratitude daily because they know that what you appreciate appreciates. They don't ignore reality, but they direct their focus toward what empowers them instead of what drains them. If you want to master your state, train yourself to control your focus. When you wake up in the morning, Don't immediately check your phone and flood your mind with negativity. Instead, ask yourself, what am I excited about today? What am I grateful for? What is one thing I can do to move forward? The third and most powerful factor in controlling your state is meaning. The meaning you give to any event determines how you feel about it. If you lose a job and decide it means you are worthless, you will feel defeated. But if you decide it means you now have the freedom to pursue something greater, you will feel empowered. The event itself doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the story you tell yourself about it. This is why two people can go through the same challenge and have completely different reactions. One will break down while the other will break through, simply because they assigned a different meaning to the experience. If you want to create a powerful state, take control of the meaning you give to situations. When something challenging happens, ask yourself, how is this happening for me, not to me? What can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger? Instead of assigning negative meanings to events, train yourself to assign meanings that drive you forward. Every time you face a setback, you have a choice. You can let it weaken you or you can let it fuel you. The choice you make will determine your state, and your state will determine your future. Mastering your state is not about ignoring reality or pretending that life is always perfect. It is about taking control of your emotions so that you can respond powerfully instead of reacting impulsively. It is about refusing to be a slave to fear, doubt, or hesitation. It is about training yourself to be in a peak state as often as possible, because when you operate from a place of confidence, energy, and clarity, you make better decisions, take bolder actions, and create unstoppable momentum. This is why the most successful people have rituals to keep themselves in a peak state. They don't wait to feel motivated. They create motivation by conditioning their minds and bodies every single day. They start their mornings with movement, gratitude, visualization, and powerful questions. They listen to empowering content, read inspiring books, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to grow. They understand that success is not about luck. It is about mastering their emotions so they can consistently show up at their best. If you want to change your life, start by changing your state. Stop waiting for external circumstances to determine how you feel. Control of your physiology. Move with energy. Stand with confidence. Breathe deeply. Take control of your focus. Direct your mind toward what empowers you instead of what drains you. Take control of the meaning you assign to events. Choose interpretations that make you stronger instead of weaker. When you master your state, you master your life. No challenge will be too big, no setback will be too devastating, and no fear will be strong enough to hold you back. You will become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about success, you make it happen. Because the greatest power you have is not in your circumstances. It is in your ability to take command of your emotions, shift your energy, and step into the strongest, most unstoppable version of yourself. Your beliefs shape your reality. Everything you have in your life right now, the level of success you've reached, the relationships you have, the opportunities you seize or let pass by, is a direct reflection of what you believe about yourself and the world. The challenge is that most people are operating under a set of beliefs that are not empowering them, but limiting them. These beliefs act like invisible chains, holding them back from achieving their full potential. They don't see the chains, but they feel them every time they hesitate. Every time they doubt themselves, every time they talk themselves out of going after what they truly want. Limiting beliefs are not real. They are stories you've told yourself so many times that they feel like facts. Maybe at some point you tried something and failed, and now you believe you're just not good enough. Maybe someone told you as a child that you weren't smart, and now you carry that belief into adulthood, making decisions based on that lie. Maybe you've convinced yourself that success is only for other people, that you don't have the right background, that you're too old, too young, not talented enough, not lucky enough. But none of these beliefs are the truth. They are just patterns of thinking you've reinforced over time. The first step to destroying limiting beliefs is to recognize them for what they are. Most people never question their beliefs. They assume that the voice in their head telling them they can't do something is speaking the truth. But you have to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this belief helping me, or hurting me. If it is not moving you forward, then it is not serving you. And if it is not serving you, why would you continue to hold on to it? You weren't born with limiting beliefs. They were given to you by society, by family, by past experiences, by the fear of failure. But just because you have believed something for a long time does not make it true. At any moment, you can decide to let go of those beliefs and replace them with new ones that empower you. You can choose to believe that you are capable, that you are resourceful, that you are meant for something greater. And the moment you shift your belief, your actions will follow. The mind is incredibly powerful. It will always look for evidence to support what you believe. If you believe you're not good enough, your mind will focus on every mistake you've ever made, reinforcing that belief. But if you believe that you are unstoppable, your mind will find reasons to prove that true as well. This is why people who believe they can achieve something keep going no matter what obstacles they face, because they have conditioned their minds to see possibilities instead of roadblocks. Destroy limiting beliefs is not about ignoring reality. It is about taking control of the story you tell yourself about what is possible. Some of the most successful people in history were told that their dreams were impossible. They were laughed at, rejected, doubted, but they refused to accept those limitations. They chose to believe something different. They rewrote their stories, and because they believed differently, they acted differently. And in the end, they created a reality that others once thought was impossible. Think about the beliefs you have about yourself right now. Are they helping you become the person you want to be, or are they keeping you stuck? If they are holding you back, it's time to break them apart. A belief only has power if you give it power. If you refuse to accept it as truth, it loses its grip on you. And the best way to break a limiting belief is to take action that directly contradicts it. If you believe you're not capable of success, go out and prove to yourself that you are. If you believe you're not a leader, start leading in small ways and watch how your confidence grows. If you believe you're not worthy of something great, start treating yourself as if you are, and soon the world will respond to that belief. Your beliefs are not set in stone. You can reprogram them at any time. The key is repetition. You didn't form your limiting beliefs overnight, and you won't destroy them overnight. But if you consistently challenge them, replace them with empowering beliefs, and back those new beliefs with action, they will lose their hold over you. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is belief. Those who achieve great things believe in themselves even when no one else does. They believe in their ability to figure things out. They believe that failure is not the end but part of the journey. They believe that they are worthy of success, and because of that belief, they refuse to quit until they make it happen. You have that same power within you, but you must be willing to take control of your mind, to question everything you have accepted as true, to destroy the beliefs that are keeping you small, and to replace them with beliefs that will drive you toward greatness. The moment you make that decision, everything changes. Your mindset shifts, your actions shift. And when your actions shift, your entire life follows. There is nothing stopping you from achieving what you want except the limits you've placed on yourself. And limits are meant to be broken. The only question is, are you ready to let go of the old story and write a new one? The choice is yours. Your mind is like a muscle. Just as you wouldn't expect to develop a strong, powerful body without consistent training, you can't expect to develop a strong, powerful mindset without conditioning it daily. Success isn't a matter of luck or talent. It's a result of the mental patterns you reinforce every single day. Your thoughts create your reality, and if you don't take control of them, the world will do it for you. Most people wake up and immediately react to whatever comes their way. They check their phones, read negative news, scroll through social media, and before they even step out of bed, they have allowed external influences to shape their mood, their mindset, and their entire day. But those who achieve greatness don't leave their mental state up to chance. They intentionally train their minds every single day to focus on what empowers them, what strengthens them, and what moves them forward. Everything you consistently feed your mind will shape the way you think, feel, and act. If you consume negativity, whether it's through media, toxic relationships, or your own self-doubt, you will develop a negative outlook on life. If you focus on problems, you will feel stuck. If you constantly tell yourself why something won't work, you will find reasons to quit. But if you condition your mind with empowering thoughts, if you feed it with inspiration, education, and the belief that you can overcome anything, then no obstacle will be strong enough to stop you. Repetition is the key. Your brain is always looking for patterns. If you think a certain way long enough, it becomes automatic. Most people have conditioned themselves to think in a way that weakens them. They don't even realize they are reinforcing limiting beliefs because they've thought them for so long that they feel like facts. But the truth is, you can rewire your mind. You can train yourself to think like someone who wins, someone who overcomes, someone who refuses to settle for anything less than the best version of themselves. The way to do this is by taking control of what you focus on first thing in the morning. If the first thing you do when you wake up is remind yourself of everything that's wrong in your life, you are conditioning your mind for stress, anxiety, and fear. But if you wake up and immediately direct your focus toward gratitude, toward what excites you, toward the opportunities in front of you, then you are conditioning your mind for success. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for rewiring your brain. When you force yourself to focus on what's good, even when things aren't perfect, you train your mind to find the positive in every situation. And when your mind is trained to look for the good, you start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You develop a mindset of abundance instead of lack. You shift from feeling powerless to feeling in control. Another powerful way to condition your mind daily is through visualization. Every world-class athlete, every high achiever, every peak performer in any industry uses visualization to program their mind for success. They don't just hope for things to work out. They see it happening in their mind before it becomes reality. They picture themselves winning, overcoming challenges, standing tall with confidence. And because they have already experienced victory in their minds, they step into the real world with certainty. Most people do the opposite. They visualize failure. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They let fear take over their minds before they even take action. But you don't have to be one of those people. You can train yourself to visualize the outcome you want, to see yourself succeeding, to feel the emotions of victory before it even happens. And when you do this consistently, your brain begins to accept it as reality, and you start taking the actions necessary to make it happen. Your words also have incredible power. What you say to yourself repeatedly shapes your identity. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have what it takes, then that becomes your reality. But if you consciously choose to speak in a way that empowers you, if you tell yourself, I am unstoppable, I always find a way, I have everything I need to succeed, then your mind starts to believe it, and your actions follow. Affirmations are not just words, they are commands to your subconscious mind. When you repeat something with enough emotion and consistency, your brain starts looking for ways to make it true. This is why the most successful people don't leave their self-talk to chance. They intentionally speak words that build confidence, that create momentum, that reinforce the mindset of a winner. Your environment plays a huge role in conditioning your mind as well. Who you surround yourself with, what you listen to, what you read, it all affects the way you think. If you spend time around people who constantly complain, doubt, and settle for mediocrity, their mindset will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, who push you to grow, who believe in possibilities instead of limitations, you will naturally start thinking bigger, aiming higher, and expecting more from yourself. Reading and learning every day is another way to train your mind for success. The most successful people in the world are obsessed with growth. They know that the more they learn, the more they can achieve. They read books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, not because they have to, but because they understand that knowledge is power. If you make a commitment to feed your mind with something positive and empowering every single day, over time you will think differently, feel differently, and act differently. Mastering your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Just like going to the gym, you can't train your mind once and expect lifelong results. You have to do it consistently. You have to make it part of your routine. And when you do, you will notice a shift. You will stop being controlled by fear. You will stop second guessing yourself. You will develop the kind of unshakable mindset that allows you to take bold action, face challenges head on, and create the life you truly want. The secret to success is not about luck, talent, or waiting for the right moment. It is about conditioning your mind every single day to think, feel, and act like the person who already has what you want. Because the truth is, success happens in your mind before it ever happens in reality. And the more you train your mind to expect greatness, the more greatness you will create in your life. Nothing changes without action. No amount of wishing, hoping, or thinking about success will make it happen. The difference between people who achieve extraordinary results and those who stay stuck is simple: action. Not just any action, but massive, consistent action. The kind of action that pushes you beyond your comfort zone. The kind that forces growth. The kind that makes failure impossible because you are moving forward with such intensity that setbacks become nothing more than temporary obstacles. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling of confidence before they start. But that moment never comes because clarity, confidence, and momentum are not things you wait for. They are things you create through action. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need to have everything figured out before they start. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want to know that everything will work out exactly as they planned. But life doesn't work that way. Success doesn't come to those who sit around waiting for all the pieces to fall into place. It comes to those who step forward boldly, even when they don't have all the answers. Because the truth is, action creates clarity. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. And the better you get, the more confident you become. People often say they are trying to succeed. But trying is just another way of saying you are not fully committed. There is no power in trying, only in doing. If you truly want something, you don't try. You do whatever it takes. You burn the bridges behind you so that failure is not an option. You don't give yourself a way out. You don't back down when you hit obstacles. You keep moving. You keep taking action until you get what you want. That's the level of commitment required to create real success. Taking action once in a while is not enough. Anyone can get excited for a day or a week and make big moves, but what separates winners from everyone else is consistency. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is what makes success inevitable. Most people start strong, but as soon as they face resistance, they slow down or stop altogether. They tell themselves they'll get back to it later, that they just need a break, that they'll start again when they feel more motivated. But motivation is unreliable. If you depend on motivation to take action, you will never achieve anything significant. What you need is discipline, the ability to take massive action even when you don't feel like it. Every great achiever has faced moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion, but they kept going because they understood a simple truth. Results don't come from what you do once in a while, but from what you do every single day. The most successful people in the world aren't the most talented. They aren't the luckiest. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop. They show up again and again, doing what needs to be done, even when no one is watching, even when they don't see immediate results. Taking massive, consistent action doesn't mean everything will go perfectly. In fact, the more action you take, the more mistakes you will make, but it's not a bad thing. Mistakes are how you learn. Every failure, every misstep, every challenge is an opportunity to adjust, refine, and improve. Most people are so afraid of failing that they never fully commit to action. They overthink, hesitate, and hold themselves back, waiting for certainty before they take the leap. But certainty never comes. The only way to guarantee success is to move forward despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty. Fear doesn't disappear with time. It disappears with action. The more you do, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. And the more capable you feel, the more unstoppable you become. The people who succeed are not fearless. They are just willing to act in spite of their fear. They understand that fear is just an illusion. a mental construct that loses its power the moment you stop listening to it and start moving forward. Massive action also forces the world to respond to you. When you take bold steps, when you move forward with relentless energy, when you refuse to back down, opportunities start to appear. People notice. Doors open, things start aligning in your favor, but none of that happens if you are sitting on the sidelines waiting for things to magically fall into place. The universe rewards those who take action. It rewards those who are willing to go all in, to take risks, to bet on themselves. It doesn't matter where you are starting from. It doesn't matter how much experience you have or don't have. It doesn't matter if you've failed before. The only thing that matters is what you are willing to do right now.